Bonnie Hops is kindly strapping me into what is called an Babij suit. This mimics what people living with arthritis have to go through, and I can tell you I'm not very far into it, and already it's getting tough to move. Bonnie, tell me a little bit more about this suit while you're strapping me in.
Well, there was a doctor whose wife had rheumatoid arthritis, quite severe, and he couldn't figure out how to get the docs and the people to understand just how much restriction they had. So he developed this and designed this for his wife. And then he took it into the physicians and let the physicians have a look, see what it's like to be really restricted.
Now, you yourself are someone who lives with arthritis. Talk about the challenges that poses for you. You have osteoarthritis, and what does that mean, and what does that mean for your life?
Well, you know, when you have arthritis, you really need to learn a lot of really good self-management. You know, pacing yourself, figuring out what you can do on what day, and going for it.
And it's a lot of, for you, is it a lot of physical pain, or how does it manifest for you?
Yes, for me it's physical pain. And for a lot of people that have arthritis, they really do have a little bit of depression because, you know, you've lost the ability to do something you've done your whole life.
Which is just move freely, right?
Absolutely, and arthritis affects all ages. So we have juvenile arthritis, which affects, I mean, babies are being diagnosed when they're 18, 19 months old. And, you know, so they're having to learn how to cope from being a child right through to being an older adult. And then other adults are, you know, they get diagnosed when they're 25 to 55 in their prime time with rheumatoid arthritis. And it's quite an adjustment because you're either just starting your family or starting your career and then bang, the brakes are on. Also, it's for people with osteoarthritis. It tends to develop as we age a little bit. And, you know, the baby boomers are coming through, and over the next 30 years, we're going to have osteoarthritis diagnosed once every 60 seconds.
Wow.
And rheumatoid arthritis is going to increase by 63%, phenomenal numbers, and we're going to be diagnosing them one every 11 hours.
Well, and that's why a suit like this is so important, and already I am restricted in my movement, but because it's great when people, especially family members, I think, can probably try something like this on, and you can really then identify with what someone's going through, because when you can't see someone's affliction, it's really, really tough to identify with what they're going through.
Yes, and unfortunately with a lot of people, it is invisible, and people look absolutely great, and you think, gee, why does that person complain all the time? But you know, it's so invisible, you don't know it took them 2 hours to get out of bed or an hour to wash their hair because they can't hold their hands up above their head. Right. Lots of things going on at home.
All right, well, I'm going to let Bonnie get me into the suit, so we're going to come back in just a moment when I am fully, I guess, impaired by arthritis, and we'll talk a little bit more and show you exactly just how restrictive it is, and talk a little bit more about how you can get involved with the Arthritis Society. Well, Bonnie Hops has me strapped into the Babij suit, and I am very clearly restricted, and this will mimic what it would feel like if I was living with arthritis. So now my big challenge is getting up off the chair, and this is something that people with arthritis, even a simple task like that, have a hard time doing.
Absolutely. Just getting up and down off a chair, in and out of a car, up and down off the toilet.
Okay, so now we have a couple tasks that I'm going to do, one of which is right behind me, and I can't really lift my arms any further than this, is to write on an envelope and then fold something up and put it in the mailbox. And again, I guess small tasks in particular, when your muscles hurt, would be really, really hard to do.
Absolutely. And you know, with rheumatoid arthritis, the hands and the feet are affected. And just trying to manipulate your fingers to do small things is very, very difficult.
Well, and I have to give Bonnie credit because she strapped me into this suit despite living with the arthritis. That's got to be tough for you, even to do, you know, small movements like putting this, this tricky Velcro on my fingers, which keeps me from moving my hands. That's got to be tough for you.
Oh yeah, but you go with the flow.
Wow, yeah. That's amazing. Okay, we're going to walk over here. I'm going to hand Bonnie the mic,
self-management,
which I can hardly hold, by the way. Okay, so trying to maneuver the pen, first of all. Now, I'm not as strapped in with my right hand as I would be because I did need to hold the microphone, but this is still really hard.
Most people with rheumatoid arthritis, you know, end up having to get up at least 2 hours earlier than anybody else because it takes that long to get up out of bed, get the stiffness moving so that you can move your joints a little bit, get walking, getting your hair washed and getting to the washroom and doing all your morning chores.
Is it pain only, or is there weakness involved as well?
It's more pain, and the weakness isn't so much weakness as what happens is sometimes the joints fuse. So when the joints fuse, then they don't move. They're there permanently. Years ago, you used to see people and their finger joints were quite deformed. Now we're much better at diagnosing and getting on good medication, so that doesn't happen. But once your joints fuse, then it doesn't move, so it's just a solid joint.
The neck is the toughest, actually, and it's not comfortable, which I would imagine arthritis isn't either.
And the neck is a very common area as well.
Okay. I got my letter sealed up. That took significantly longer than it would have at any other time. So now we're going to go out the door and see what it's like to walk a short distance to mail this letter. When you can't fully extend your arm, it's hard to do something like push open a door. So how many people here in Manitoba are living with arthritis that go through what I'm kind of sort of experiencing right now?
Well, right now we have just over 250,000 people that are diagnosed with arthritis, 4.6 million in Canada. There's approximately just over 600 children that are diagnosed with juvenile arthritis, and we have rheumatoid and osteo are the most common.
Keep going, yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah, that's the most common, and 3 million of those are diagnosed with osteoarthritis. So we have a lot, and like I said, in the next over the next 30 years, we're going to have over 10 million.
I do just want to clarify, I put the letter in the garbage because I didn't want to put a blank envelope into the actual post office box. I'm sure Canada Post doesn't want blank envelopes in there. I guess just as a final note, it's great that the Arthritis Society has this suit, and there are opportunities for people to try it on and to really get a feeling. And I would imagine from your point of view as someone living with arthritis that you would encourage people, especially if you've got a family member who deals with this, to come give this a try, because there's nothing that I think, especially for someone like yourself, that probably makes your life easier than people getting and understanding what you're going through. Yeah. Would that be fair?
People don't understand the restrictions. They really don't. They just expect you should be able to open doors automatically, get up the 3 steps automatically. And it's not. It's a difficult job. If you'd like to just walk down a little bit, there's a nice bench down there if you'd like to try having a seat on it and see what it feels like to get up and down off of a bench. If you're tired and you have arthritis, you usually fatigue very easily. So if we go for a short walk, then you can have a chance to have a little rest.
Sure. Yeah, took that hard. So Bonnie, I'm going to get you to join me here on the bench to close this out. The arthritis suit is shared by all of the arthritis societies across Canada, so you don't always have it here in Winnipeg, but it is here from time to time. And I guess if people want to give it a try in order to get that experience so that they can understand what other people are going through who have arthritis, best bet maybe go to the website and just check out events and see where and when it's going to be around?
Absolutely. They can always give us a call, and if we have it, they're welcome to come down and try it on.
All right, so the website is arthritissociety.ca.
www.arthritis.ca.
Okay, Bonnie, thank you so much for your time. I'm going to try to get up here. Folks, also remember that they do often have this suit at the annual walk, so go to the website to get the details, but definitely give this a try because it will give you a new appreciation for what so many people in Manitoba and Canada are dealing with. Bonnie, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
I really took that bench hard when I sat down.